Hello, welcome back to Board Deck and Dice. Today we are doing numbers 40 to 31 on my top 50 games, I guess, of all time. On the first video I did a little disclaimer about how I selected these games, so please remember this is my top 50 from probably played about 300-ish games. That might be slightly more, but around that figure. So again, the pool I'm selecting from is not as wide as some other reviewers, and also I'm rating on these on would I rather play them above or below the games that come before them. So all these games are games that I would rather play right now. If you offer me a choice between this game and one that's come before it, I would choose the lower number, higher up the... Should we get on with it? Let's get on with it. So, number 40 is Colt Express. I don't actually own Colt Express. Not the first game I own. I don't own Puerto Rico other than in that form. Ooh, I have the app of Colt Express now as well. But Colt Express just... if I was blown away by King of Tokyo when my brother showed me Colt Express, I was just blown away by the way you'd play your cards, but that wouldn't happen until the end of the round, and it was like this mini train western being played out before you as you saw the story coming to life on this 3D train, and you hoped that your moves had been the right one, and as soon as you played that first round and you got it, you thought, right, I know what I'm doing now, and the next card would come up and you'd have to play some face down, or you'd have to play them backwards, or you'd get to play two in a row, and there was just enough difference in it to really stand out. So this is a programmed movement game where you are bandits on a train trying to steal as much treasure as you can and shoot as many people as you can to get the bonus. It has a real table presence with this 3D train, and although you're just playing on a 2D plane, not an aeroplane, not, you know, it didn't bother me that much. I know it's bothered some other people, and they kind of fix that a little bit with the expansions where you're playing alongside and all that sorts, and you can even get a DeLorean for it. So Colt Express is my number 40. Number 39 is the drafting game Treasure Hunter. I really like drafting as a mechanism, and I really like when it's used to drive another system, not just pure drafting. And Treasure Hunter, you are drafting for 3 areas on the board. They've all got now, I think it's jungle, ice and lava, red, green and blue. But what's nice about it is there's a minimum and a maximum area in each square in each area, and they change depending on what tiles come out. So if you get the highest value of blue cards, you might win plus 20 points, but you might win minus 5 because it changes every round. So you know what you're going for, but it's whether you've got enough to be the most in that colour, the least, because the best thing could be on the minimum one. It's really clever. Then you have to think about the goblin round after that. You have to make sure you draft enough protection from the goblins, otherwise you're going to lose some of your treasures. There's permanent scoring cards that are grey, and they give you bonuses at the end of the game, and yellow ones which give you instant bonuses. It's just really clever, and I really like it, and it plays with up to 6 players, which is good for our game group. It's quick to understand, it's quick to explain. The rule book is fantastic, apart from the size of the thing, if you ask the board game vicar anyway. Treasure Hunter is my number 39. Number 38 is another 2-player game, with quite a lot of those on this list so far, and that is Patchwork, the Uwe Rosenberg game, which 2 games have come out recently using a similar kind of mechanic, but not just that. Patchwork, you're trying to build the best quilt you can. Sounds ridiculous, but actually works as you use Tetris-like pieces, but you don't just pay for them with the currency of the game, which is buttons, obviously. You pay for them in time, and as you take one that costs more time, you advance your pawn around the scoring track, around the time track even further, and the further your pawn goes round the scoring track, the less opportunity you're going to get to buy things. And also, you don't just take turn order in this go. A person has as many goes as it takes for them to get in front of the other person on the time track. There's just something really satisfying about Patchwork and building a really good quilt that has very few gaps. That's number 38, Patchwork. Number 37 is Star Realms, another deck builder. Star Realms is just a great deck builder. I appreciate the fact that I'm not chasing victory points. I'm trying to blow my opponents out of the water. I'm trying to take their health to 0, not the water, because it's in space. Is there water in space? Probably. Space water. Star Realms, typical deck building trappings. You start with exactly the same hand. You're trying to get better ships, but the way the factions interact, if you have one red card, it may set off powers on another red card. The bases, all that stuff. Love Star Realms, and that is my number 37. Number 36 is a new game called HMS Dolores, and HMS Dolores is a take on what's called the Prisoner's Dilemma, or for people in the UK, that end bit of the quiz, Golden Balls with Jasper Carrot, where you have a pot of treasure, in this case cards, which are set up between 2 players, 2 in front of the player on the left, 2 in front of the player on the right. There's up to 4 players in this game, and I wouldn't play this as a 2-player game actually, but you will count to 3, and on 3 you will choose to put your thumb up, which means peace. If you both do that, you split the treasure. Happy days. You will do a fist or something, I can't remember exactly what they are, which is fight or war. If one of you does that and the other does peace, then the fighting person takes them all. Oh yeah, thumbs up is first choice. And then there's this bizarre first choice one, which really makes the game, because it gives you the first choice, but if you both choose first choice, you're going to lose something you've already collected. Added to that, a really clever scoring mechanism, which really makes this game worthwhile, in my humble opinion. That is HMS Dolores. Number 35 is Potion Explosion, which has been called the Candy Crush of board games. You build out of cardboard that you've punched out this marble dispenser or ingredient dispenser, and on your go you will take a marble out, and if it causes 2 or more marbles of the same colour to clash together, you will take those. If that causes more marbles to clash, you will take those, and there is ongoing chain reaction that you can cause. You use those to complete potions, which you can drink to give you special powers, which let you influence the dispenser even more. It is a great game. It plays well with families. That is Potion Explosion. Number 34 is a bidding game called Mow Money. And in Mow Money, what I like about this is it scales well for 2 to 6 players, and you are actually bidding to be the lowest bidder on a job, because you are a lawnmower cutting company and you are trying to get tender the best jobs, which pay the most, but you don't want to bid too high because you won't get the job. The job will always go to the lowest bidder, and there are various ways you can do this. If you've completed a few jobs, you can stake your reputation on it. You can always complete op jobs and you get bonuses for doing those instead of taking a bid. You can upgrade your equipment, which gives you access to better jobs, perhaps cheaper. It's just a very neat, tight game, and I've enjoyed it a lot when I've played it. So Mow Money as a bidding game, it ranks highly for me, and I look forward to playing it again. That is number 34. Number 33 is Origin, which is an area control sort of game, area influence game from Matago, one that I found very cheaply in the works, and again has a great table presence. You have these chunky wooden pieces, and they get thinner and they get taller, and if they're taller they're faster, if they're fatter they're stronger. And you're placing these pieces out to try and influence this map, but you have to place a piece out that shares 2 characteristics with the piece next to it. So if you've placed a brown, short, fat man, you must match 2 of those characteristics. So the next piece must be brown, short, and then can be any fatness, or vice versa. And it just works really, really well. There's a simple mode for families and there's a more advanced mode for gamers. Origin really took me by surprise. I didn't know what to expect, but it's a fairly solid game. Number 32 was a game I got free from the Board Game Crate when I received a review copy, a review crate from them. So if you are interested in board game crates in the UK, check out boardgamecrate.co.uk, and that is Camel Up. Camel Up is my number 32. And this is just a fun game of betting, of this mad camel race where the camels can stack up, and just that mechanism with these camels stacking on each other and the camel being on top, being the leader, just makes for really interesting decisions about whether that camel's going to come first in the leg. So the way the camels move, you have a pyramid which dispenses dice one at a time, and you won't put the same colour dice back in which represents a camel until all the other dice have come out. So if white camel's moved and he's got to the top of the stack, you might think, oh well, he's not going to win because he's had his dice, it's out there, but he's on top of a stack. So if a blue camel moves, and he's got the white camel on top of him, he takes him with him, and it just has gone down really well. I enjoy playing it. Again, easy to teach. And the final one on this part of the list is number 31, Zany Penguins. Zany Penguins is sort of a drafting game, but you're only giving cards to the person on your left and your right. What's really interesting about Zany Penguins is you are trying to build up a majority of a colour on the table. You have 5 different colours of penguins and they all have a number on. You want the highest number on the table to score what you have of that colour in your hand. So it's no good putting all your reds on the table because then you've got nothing to score in your hand. You want to score the most reds on the table in the lowest possible way you can, so you can score all the reds in your hand. However, if you have you don't have the highest in a colour, you score the highest number left in your hand. So the lowest number left in your hand, sorry. So if the lowest number I have left in my hand is 9, I can actually score as well as having a majority on the table by keeping that card in my hand. But people will try and mess you up. They'll see you've got that, and the last card they'll give you the red 1. So now you went from going 9 to 1, an 8-point swing. Very clever game. Really like Zany Penguins. Thanks very much for watching this part of our top 50 games. We will be back with the next ones, which is 30 to 21. See you next time.